All right, I'm Nick. Outside today, I told you in one of the last videos we were gonna make the video about the Lynx and durability. From the start, it's been a concern of mine. I know it's a concern of a ton of folks. So I think it's been about 6 months since we purchased this one. We have another one. It's the one that I have fished from. Now, taking it offshore. A lot of you guys have seen the videos. Sailfish, tuna, red snapper, triggerfish, inshore, redfish, trout, whatever else. Been doing some bass fishing, so I have been using some standard boat ramps, so concrete, asphalt, stuff like that. If you know me or have watched a lot of the videos, I don't necessarily baby any of the equipment, right? At the end of the day, this is a tool for what I do regularly. It's not necessarily a recreational exercise. It's a tool for the job, all right? So I treat it as such. I'm gonna take the camera, do a little first person point of view, point out some things with the kayak, some wear and tear from using it the past 6 months or so. Overall though, I'm not upset about it. I think it has done really, really well from all the stuff I've put it through. There are concerns that I have, and I'll point those out and show you. But I'll get the camera, I'll walk through front to back, we'll flip it over, and then I'll show you the bottom. So I'm gonna start with some purely cosmetic stuff, right? We're gonna go front to back and just talk cosmetics. This is typically a little Hobie sticker. That sticker fell off the very first, second, or third day. This sticker here, which none of this stuff I care about, just so you guys know. We took them out a clay road, got these things covered in clay. They're on the trailer, they're all red. And I touched that with the pressure washer at the car wash and it came off. Those are just little things. Once I realized it was doing it, I tried to avoid it as much as possible and not to hit it so it wouldn't come off, but things happen, okay? So now we'll go back up here to the front. Now I've had this rigged a bunch of different ways, so this is just how it is after fishing this morning. You guys can see these marks, like these black marks, all this scratching. That's actually from the pedal, or from the wheels. Those things are not aligned. They must have came loose or not lined up. When I toss this in the truck, I usually just toss it like this. And you can see that that is from that bouncing up and down. If you guys have watched some of the recent videos, I spent a bunch of time with this kayak, driving down Clay Road, going fishing these little backwoods ponds, and well, this is what happened to it, okay? One of the next things is the sea deck right here. Now this is also preventable. I just tossed this in here like this one day, and just from going for a short ride, the nipple on here did the damage to all of this, to the sea deck. No big deal in my mind. Remember, I haven't cleaned this thing in 3 or 4 months either, so it just is what it is. Everywhere else looks pretty solid. I haven't had any problems with these inserts pulling out. There has been some stock about that stuff, putting A-trail kits on there. For me, I'm not putting an A-trail kit on here. I don't want to do it. I wanted to keep it as simple, minimalistic as possible. Now, I've had a bunch of questions about the seat risers. Now, this is the original set of seat risers. This is the very first set of seat risers ever made. It was actually a dud. It actually had a problem right here, but it was a prototype, so I put them on there anyways. They've been there ever since. Somebody had some questions about it damaging the sea deck. I've never removed this seat since they were installed. As you guys can see, it does, it does push down the sea deck a little bit, but that's it. It doesn't move, right? Like, I could pick the kayak up by that and nothing moves. So no issues with that. Completely durable. All of this area. I weigh about 220 pounds. I've had no issues with anything, okay? Up top, this is strapped down pretty tight, the crate, so I haven't had any issues there. No dents, no nothing to really worry about. Obviously, we did put these skid plates on there after we damaged this. You guys can see how that's kind of broken. This side didn't happen. That was from being loaded in the truck a certain way. Looks like we got a gouge, or it's just a dent really. Maybe you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. Not too bad, no issues. But speaking of this, I do know that I've been tossing it in the front of the truck recently, just tossing the front end, and that is pretty beat up. Try to get my shadow out of there. That is pretty beat up, but no issues. It didn't actually separate. it just dented itself from hitting the front of the bed of the truck. All in all, that's a small price to pay for weighing 60 pounds. This thing is not going to be a beauty queen. You can see this is from the wheels again on this side. But outside of that, look, I haven't cleaned it. I haven't done anything. Same stuff here. Now this is from something rubbing on it. Sometimes I toss the pedals right there in the back of the truck. Things that normally wouldn't happen to other kayaks. We got a bunch of little small scratches all through here. It's from hitting stuff in the water, whether it's just submerged, you know, vegetation, or going through small creeks and branches hitting it. That's just the reality of what it's going to look like. If you look real close, you can see some pitting in the material. That stuff's from the thermoforming process. Nothing that I'm concerned about. Like we already said, it's just a tool. So I'm gonna get this thing off here. I'm gonna put it on the ground. I'm just gonna lean it up against this stand, which is these Rubbermaid containers. I'm gonna lean it up against there. I'll show you guys the bottom. But all in all, it's doing pretty good in my mind, okay? I do have some concerns about the bottom. We're gonna look at those real quick. I haven't looked at it in months, so I don't even know what it looks like, all right? So whatever we see is what we see. Okay, so we just flipped it over. My wife and I both took a quick glance at it to see, you know, from over here, you don't really see anything major, right? Once you start looking, now you can see some gouges from hitting stuff. This is from hitting, you know, boat ramps or hitting whatever's in the water, putting it in the truck. You know, I do have a rubber liner in the bottom of the truck, but things still happen. You can see some grooves around the outside of that. You see these grooves, you see these dents, you can see that spot right there. That's the spot that has worn the most, which I'm going to tell you that all of this stuff is from the tailgate of my truck. You can see how it stops and it's not really anywhere back there. And then you can also see where this is the part that sits on the tailgate in transport, bouncing around, rattling around. So for 6 months of pretty heavy use in a variety of conditions, I don't really have too much of concern about this. This area right here is by far the worst. Hopefully you guys can see that, get a little closer. Now, I'm sure there's solutions, some kind of double bubble, epoxy, something along those lines. I'm sure we could fix that, sand it up, make it look pretty. Now, I know there are kill guard options. I'm not a real big fan of kill guards. I don't see a need for it in my mind, especially what we're doing. Maybe would it have saved this a little bit? Yeah, but at the same time, I don't personally think that it's super necessary. You shouldn't be running into the boat ramps, right? And that's not really from boat ramps. It's more along the lines of from rocky shorelines where there's no options. This is all from the bed of the truck, okay? That's all from the bed of the truck, 100%. Obviously there's a transducer in there, no issues. Bottom's the same as this. I don't see any major issues. Got some kind of dent right here. Obviously these things are, you know, these replacement skid plates are holding up great. They make a pretty big difference back here. Overall though, you got a gouge right here, but big scratch there. I don't see any major issue. I do know that I've been driving down these clay roads, and I've been driving down those clay roads far faster than you should. And it's clay and rocks and all kinds of stuff. And I know it's just been coming off the tires and bouncing off back here. So you can kind of see like little tiny little dents. That stuff's more likely from rocks hitting it while I'm driving. I personally think having it in the back of the truck is smarter than having it on the trailer. We went the trailer route and they were filthy following the trips. This way, they're there in the back of the truck, and I think it goes over better. So that's it. That's 6 months of what it looks like using it regularly in a variety of different places. I still stand by my original statements. If you are in a place where you're gonna be, you know, like whitewater tubing or rafting or, you know, boulders everywhere, this probably isn't the best option, okay? But it is pretty durable for what it is, and at 60 pounds rigged, I am still happy with those results. Now, I know the sun is kind of harsh. Hopefully you guys can see without any kind of issues. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below or shoot me an email at nick@navarrekayakfishing.com. Thanks for watching.